Hi everybody, I'm Daniel Tisch, CEO of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the 2024 Ontario Business Achievement Awards, brought to you by our series presenting partner, Canadian National Railway. Our theme this year is building resilience in a changing economy, and that's because Ontario businesses are adapting to challenge, they're leveraging innovation, and they're responding to economic change with a resolve to foster growth, both here in Canada and around the world. And we are so grateful to our episode partners for their support, without whom we could not bring this episode to you. In this episode, we're talking about a subject that's being raised in offices and businesses around the world, from mom and pop shops right up to the boardrooms of Bay Street, and that topic is artificial intelligence. I think our viewers will find the AI conversations that we have today both thoughtful and informative. You know, I've been thinking about how to make sure AI really has the spotlight for this episode, and I believe I've come up with a way.
And now, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Simran Singh, to tell us more. Over to you, Simran.
Wow, impressive commitment. Thanks, Dan. It seems that these days many are developing their own take on what AI might mean. Whether you are an educator or student, employer or employee, manufacturer or marketer, in government or agriculture, you've probably thought about the role of AI in the future. In this first segment, we found some people that were willing to share their thoughts with us.
I've used it professionally to get us started on some of our communication materials. Still dabbling in it, I would say very early stages that we're using it at.
With professional AI, we use it for market statistics. So we look into where's the best place to do investment properties.
So what we've used it for is testing ideas and clarifying language, because a lot of our job is trying to distill down really complex topics into simple language.
So I use a lot of ChatGPT on a regular basis. I work in marketing, so it helps out with sometimes when you need a quick content idea or if you need something worded better.
Local businesses can use it just the same as I use it. Responding to emails, drafting emails, checking copy, and reviewing materials that they need to review and get it done quick.
Using AI, you can now leverage just some handful of ideas that you have to create longer content for your business. It allows a small business owner or local business owner to have the resources of really a global company.
I think AI can help local businesses by freeing up some of their workforce and helping them do more value-driven activities rather than maybe more of the mundane tasks that come with things like research or answering phones.
So when I think of job opportunities in AI, primary is software engineers and people that work in the AI companies themselves. But as an investment professional, I'm actually thinking about the other areas of technology like energy, our grid that's going to need to be upgraded to run all this energy, and then, ethicists and all the other industries that are going to come in behind.
It's allowing people to be more creative and conscious about what they're putting out. That steam power that we would take on more mundane tasks, we have AI now supporting that. And because of that, it's helping people be a lot more productive and be able to achieve many of their goals or many of their different checkpoints a lot faster.
I think that it will help streamline processes and reduce the administrative burden in companies, and also to help with business acquisition, with generating sales leads and generating effective marketing strategies as well.
So I think Canada can best leverage AI technology by using it for things that are like tribunals, for example. When we see the landlord-tenant board, we know that there's a big backlog. If we had AI implemented there, we could maybe scan more caseloads and we could see if decisions could be made faster and speed up the process so that members can make better decisions quicker.
So I think the biggest thing that Canada can do with AI technology is helping bring education and providing prompts and contents for the regular residents who may not have experience with AI and increasing that access.
Canada has a pretty strong technology sector already. I think leveraging that and building upon some of the expertise that already exists, certainly in certain hubs around the country.
I see huge opportunity around just the need for additional load, energy, which our company provides, data center services, so huge infrastructure job opportunity growth.
I think my biggest concern is the concept of deep fakes, especially as we navigate the socio-political situations in this world. If you're not familiar with AI or any sort of deep fake content, you may not recognize the video in front of you is of somebody falsely speaking.
So I do have concerns about what the jobs of the future are going to look like. I have some creative children that I wonder what the modeling and the chat GPTs of the future will do to creative jobs.
I think with any new technology, we have to look at sort of the opportunities, but also how it can be used, maybe for not so positive ways. I think that's true with everything. So I think getting robust standards in place, recognizing just the ways that it can be used for maybe negative purposes.
I'd say the biggest thing for me is intellectual property. Where is all this information going? Who owns it? Who can use it? And how long does it exist, out there?
It's scary to think about what impact it's going to have on kids and people that are coming up through the school system. I think eventually we're going to need to adapt to that and welcome it into schools in some capacity. But it concerns me for my own kids. How is their thinking and critical thinking going to be going forward?
The Future Skills Centre, led by Toronto Metropolitan University with the Conference Board of Canada and Blueprint, offers cutting-edge research and innovation to strengthen the skills and employment ecosystem. Artificial intelligence is taking the workplace by storm. While Canadian companies are lagging in adopting AI, their employees are not. Many are using AI at work, but often without the knowledge of the risks they need. FSC projects equip employers, particularly SMEs, to tackle AI responsibly and to attract and retain the talent they need now and for the future. FSC projects support diverse Canadians across sectors in developing AI literacy and advancing their skills.
Well, we try to keep our content relevant, and what better way to do so than to put the questions directly to the people. I want to thank everyone who shared their perspectives with us, and also thanks to the Halton Hills Chamber of Commerce for their support with that segment. Every once in a while, we like to look at our themes from a fresh perspective. And so here, with his take on all things AI, is our man on the street, Louis De Palma, with another installment of Louis's Lesson.
Recently, there's been a lot of discussion around artificial intelligence. Talk about what AI can do for you, and talk about what AI should be doing for you. Has anyone stopped to ask AI what they want to do for us? Talk to AI. Can I get an exclusive? Well, it turns out that when it comes to AI, there is more complex thinking than I had been aware of. Here is just some of what I learned. The term artificial intelligence dates back to the last century as the vision for machine learning and problem solving first began to take shape. AI has come to the forefront of our consciousness in recent years, with news-making and even mind-blowing advancements. And it turns out, I've been using AI longer than I realized. When I interact with voice assistants like Siri and Google Assistant, as well as customer service chatbots on websites. We also experience AI with various recommendation algorithms used in search engines, social media, and streaming entertainment services. While some boast that AI is reshaping industries, others have expressed concern about some of the ethical considerations. Can questions about data privacy really be addressed? Can job loss truly be balanced with retraining? Is the role of AI in our society advancing too quickly? Of course, the most talked about system these days is ChatGPT, developed by OpenAI. It is said to have increased conversational and contextual performance. As well, I'm told that it produces fewer errors and has improved safety and ethics guidelines that will hopefully keep us better protected. In Canada, our tech leaders continue to play an important role in both the development of and applications of AI. What is clear to me is that we need our best thinkers in academia, government, policy, and tech working in partnership to ensure all Canadians are safe, healthy, competitive, and prosperous.
Getting 300 million tons of freight to market and powering the economic growth of a nation, that takes a lot. It takes fortitude and focus, a strong footprint, and a commitment to reducing it. It takes partnerships, communities, collaboration. It takes a vision and care for one another. It takes all of us together into the future.
Thank you to our series presenting partner, CN. I recently had the opportunity to connect with Sam Sebastian of Google Canada. Google is one of our lead partners at the OCC Artificial Intelligence Hub, which brings together industry and academia to further our knowledge around AI use cases. Here is that conversation. To kick things off, can you share more how AI has evolved and what has brought us to today? How is it transforming how businesses build products, create new products, and serve their customers?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting right now. We're currently experiencing probably one of the most significant technological shifts in history with the recent growth of an evolution of AI, and now over the last probably 12 to 18 months, the emergence of generative AI. I've been around longer than I'd like to admit, and I remember when this type of shift happened from kind of the old mobile phone to the smartphone when iPhone launched, and it basically changed the game. This is a technological shift very, very similar. It's going to transform, and already is, how we're interacting with information, businesses, one another, whether it's better and faster, more modern customer service back and forth, or healthcare breakthroughs, or efficient supply chains. It's a big deal. The technology isn't necessarily new at Google. We've been employing AI in our own products for probably the last 6 or 7 years, whether you're using Gmail or Maps or search. You've been interacting with a lot of this technology. And now at Google Cloud, what we're doing is bringing those innovations that we built Google on and making that infrastructure or the data, the digital platform, cybersecurity, bringing it to enterprises, small companies, startups, governments, etc. But we've got a productivity problem right now in Canada. We're 18th, I think, in productivity among leading countries. And this is the type of technology that can have a significant impact on this. In fact, we just launched our economic impact report, and generative AI has the potential to boost Canada's economy by $230 billion over the next few years and save the average Canadian worker over 175 hours a year.
Thanks for that, Sam. You mentioned something about adoption for businesses and companies. Something that we hear quite a lot here at the Chamber of Commerce is that for many of these companies, adopting new technologies can be tough. And I think artificial intelligence seems to be moving at a really rapid pace. How can organizations get started with their AI journey?
For small to medium businesses, one interesting place to start, many SMBs and startups use Google Workspace. We just launched probably 6 months ago, Gemini for Workspace, which combines a lot of the enterprise data in your own small to medium business, like emails and documents and meetings, and then allows kind of real world knowledge from Gemini, which is our large language model, and kind of brings the best of generative AI to life to increase productivity or creativity, innovation, utilization of the tools.
What can businesses do to bridge the skilling gap when it comes to AI? Because the impacts are going to be pretty profound, both from a workforce development standpoint, as well as also from, changing the management processes already in place.
You're right. In fact, I think the Conference Board of Canada just released a report and found that half of the companies that are implementing AI programs now mostly feel the biggest impediment or what's holding them back is the lack of skilled talent inside their organization or folks that they want to go out and hire. So we're going to have to collectively invest in the AI skill set. This doesn't necessarily mean that everyone needs to turn into a data scientist. The advantage of a lot of these Gen AI tools is it makes it pretty straightforward to get started, whether you're learning how better to prompt an agent to deliver some information, et cetera. It doesn't take a advanced computer science degree, but you need to kind of get in the mud and start using this stuff in order to really figure out how best to take advantage of it. You basically want to create a culture of fluency, AI fluency. The same thing happened years back, again, when the smartphone came. Folks needed to move off of their PCs and actually test and work or even code and develop new products on the phone in order to understand kind of that native technology. Same thing goes for AI or Gen AI. The latest economic impact report that we launched that I referenced earlier shows that I think upwards of 60% of Canadian workers are interested in AI skilling, rising to 72% if you're a young Canadian. So as a business, you need to lean in here because your employees are demanding it. We've got, and many other players I'm sure have training. We just launched some no-cost training and credential programs to help to design millions of people in organizations learn how to harness the power of Gen AI. We just launched a new course, both in English and French, here in Canada called Google AI Essentials, taught by experts that I get a chance to work with every day on the engineering side. And it's also, if you're a business, it needs to be an interdisciplinary approach, meaning you can't just have this in the corner with the IT folks, just those folks who understand AI. It has to start from the very top. The people operations organization has to be plugged in with this in order to kind of manage some of the change management and culture change that goes along with some of these things. So if you're a business, large, small, lean into it. Your employees are demanding it. There's help out there for you. Make sure you go grab it. But then again, step back a little bit. Because this is such a big technological and kind of cultural change, you have to do it across the organization, not just in silos.
Mm-hmm. Another thread that I want to pick up on, Sam, you mentioned that Google works with many of these SMEs. What are some of the most interesting use cases you've seen coming from businesses when it comes to really adopting and taking the advantage of this AI opportunity?
Yeah, this is the best part of my job, is working with companies around Canada, but especially here in Ontario and in Toronto, in between Toronto and Waterloo, because they're putting these technologies into place and seeing the impacts right away. We work with a massive AI startup called Cohere, based here in Toronto, that's building foundation models, including large language models that can significantly accelerate the development of Gen AI for their customers. And they do most of their training and serving work on top of our high performance infrastructure.
You know, Sam, AI, like any other big technology, is not without its risks. And that's something top of mind for businesses when they're thinking about adopting. How does Google as a company address these challenges, and what's your take on safe and responsible AI use?
Yeah, you almost take it back to the mission of your organization. The mission of our organization is to organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful. And we understand we have a responsibility to ensure that we're always connecting users with the highest quality of information. And so getting AI right, which sits right in the nexus of a couple of those areas of our mission, That's critical as part of our mission. So we established our AI principles back in 2018, which described the commitment to developing the technology responsibly, setting out the values that we're going to put in place as we build products on top of AI, and established specific application areas that we would not pursue. From a day-to-day perspective, what that looks like is we have a central team that dedicates itself to implementing those principles and ensuring we have ethical product reviews anytime we're putting new AI or advanced technologies into new products that we launch. We have internal domain experts that look at machine learning, fairness, security, privacy, human rights, understanding the cultural context of everything that's going on. We've got to get that right, but we put the teams and the processes and the principles in place to do that. But it's not only on us or necessarily businesses, it's on the entire ecosystem. And this is especially true in Canada. We've got an ecosystem of research institutions, unbelievable universities, great startups, established companies, government, and we have to look to that shared responsibility of that ecosystem to make sure as a collective, we're taking advantage of all the opportunities that AI allows us to make lives better, easier, solve complex challenges, enable us to reach kind of the lofty, ambitious goals that we're putting in place. And it has a strong and appropriate and balanced focus on addressing the risks. We've seen governments take important steps on this. We're working closely with the Canadian government, both provincially as well as federally, as a key stakeholder to make sure that we have an open conversation on how to harness the transformative potential for the economy, but make sure we're balancing the risks at the same time. But I'd say right now, I'd love to see us continue to focus not only on the risks and the harms to avoid, which is critically important, but back to where I started, where the impact on the productivity challenge that we have here in the country. If we can lean in and leverage the principles that we put in place and that others have to mitigate the risks and focus increasingly on the potential transformative impacts of this technology, that's where I think the path forward is going to be. And again, it's why I skip to work every day. It's a great opportunity and frankly, a time to be alive in technology. And we're seeing the impacts on a day-to-day basis. And I can't wait to see what's around the corner.
Thanks for these fantastic insights, Sam. I'm sure our viewers, many of whom make up Ontario businesses and the broader industry, are really going to benefit from your take and thoughts here. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, Simran and Sam, for that incredibly interesting conversation. AI is changing so rapidly, it can be hard to keep up. And just to let you viewers in on a little secret, these guys actually recorded that interview as late as possible in our schedule because they wanted you to have the very latest news. So we had a goal in this episode, and that goal was to dispel some of the myths and talk about some of the opportunities that artificial intelligence presents for Ontario business. Mission accomplished, I hope. As we wrap up, thanks as always to our OBAA series presenting partner, Canadian National Railway, as well as our episode partner. And finally, thanks to you, our viewers. Don't forget to join the conversation. You can find the Ontario Chamber on LinkedIn, on X, on Facebook, and now on Instagram. So until next time, stay connected and stay inspired.